Hey guys, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Batwoman Season 1 review series, and today I'm going to be talking about episode 19, A Secret Kept from All the Rest. And we are one more episode to go before we wrap up the review series of Season 1 of Batwoman, and this episode featured an important moment. It was the live-action debut in the Arrowverse of Hush. And for many of you hardcore geeks out there who know that name very well, Hush in the Batman comics, his real name is Thomas Elliot. He was a surgeon and a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne's, and he made his Arrowverse debut here. And in my honest opinion, it was a little bit of a letdown, if I'm truly honest. If you're going to feature a villain like Hush, who's never been in live action, ever, he only just made his animated debut, I think, back in 2019 in the Batman Hush animated movie. But other than that, he's never been in any other media. He's been in a couple of the Arkham games. He had a little cameo in Arkham City, and he had a semi-ish big role in the Arkham Knight game, which continued on from Arkham City. But other than that, Hush has never been in the media much. He's mostly been in the comic books. So when I learned that Hush was going to be making his debut in the Arrowverse for Season 1 of Batwoman, I was interested. I'm not going to lie. I was very interested in how they were going to bring in Thomas Elliot, especially as Bruce Wayne's been on the missing list for several years in the show. And they'd been building him up for a few episodes. So we finally saw Thomas Elliot finally become Hush, and I'm sorry, I just didn't like it. And I like Hush. Hush is an awesome villain, but this version of Hush, he seemed very silly. I mean, it's not really hard. I mean, brown coat, big bandages, pretty easy to do. He looked like a parody of the old Invisible Man movie. I just didn't like it. And not just that, not just his appearance so much, just the way he was written. He seemed silly. If you're going to bring in Hush, make him the main villain for the show. That's what you do. I think what should have happened was maybe they should have saved Hush for maybe Season 2 or 3 or something. I don't know really. Just seemed like a villain with so much potential just seemed wasted here. I mean, he was nothing more than a lackey / sidekick to Alice and Mouse, and yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed really. I really had high hopes for Hush. Maybe they might bring him back with a bigger role, who knows, but I just didn't like the way he was written here. And I've got nothing against the actor. He did a decent job, but I don't know really. He just looked like a cosplayer. I just expected more. As I said, I had high hopes, but what can you do really? You can't please everyone. Aside from Hush, the episode itself was okay. There was some interesting stuff going on here, but yeah, I don't know really. It was okay, but I wouldn't really say this episode was my favourite. I've seen better episodes in this season. There were some good strong episodes in the first half. As I said, a little bit dry, but there was some good episodes. But the second half of Season 1, the post-crisis of the show, there was some really good episodes. There was some good stuff, but very up and down. But there was some good strong episodes. But this one, pretty weak. Not terrible. As I said, there was some good stuff, but as I said, very weak in some parts. But it is what it is. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about Episode 19, A Secret Kept from All the Rest. So we start this episode off where we see Hush is murdering people as he is making his way through the Gotham Library, and he takes an old man hostage. Mouse, Alice and Hush, who are now all working together, take the Doctor to Arkham and torture him on an electric chair, but he's unable to decode the entire journal's hidden language, and they ultimately kill him. Now, back in the last episode, they managed to get hold of Lucius Fox's journal, and it's all written in code language. So this episode pretty much sees Alice and the gang trying to decode whatever this code is in Lucius Fox's journal. So Alice suggests that they kidnap Luke Fox, but Mouse, who we've seen for the past couple of episodes has been butting heads with Alice, is against the idea of kidnapping Luke Fox. Kate confronts Regan about what happened with the journal. Now, back in the last episode 18, Regan and Kate got it on and slept together, but while Kate was asleep, Regan stole the journal. Now, this is why you should never leave your stuff laying around. And we see the two of them arguing, and Regan argues that not all of their relationship was a sham. Regan admits that she's Magpie's sister and hints that the journal might have gotten to Julia. Kate visits Julia at the Crow's headquarters about that, and Julia is offended by Kate not trusting her. Kate talks to Luke and Mary about her suspicions surrounding Julia, and they try to figure out what she really wants with the book. Hush abducts another codebreaker who Alice tortures to death. Alice determines one way or another the codebreaker who they bring in, Parker, who is a teenage hacker that Alice and Kate dealt with as their terrier. Kate and Mary realise that Hush is going after codebreakers to try to decode Lucius Fox's journal. They later get a call from Parker's girlfriend alerting Kate to what's happening. Kate chases Hush and Parker's van throughout the city, but Hush ultimately escapes. Alice gets upset that Hush failed and decides to do things her way. Now, all due respect to Alice has been a fantastic villain. As I've said in quite a few videos, she's been probably one of my favourite things that I've loved about Season 1 so far, but the idea of a guy like Hush taking orders from Alice doesn't appeal to me. As far as I'm concerned, Hush should be at least second in command, if not the boss, because he's Hush, you know? But, hey, what do I know? But anyway, as Hush develops a reputation across Gotham City, the Crows try to track him down. Jacob isn't happy that Batwoman is involved, which worries Sophie. Luke confronts Julia at the Crow's office, revealing that he knows she's not telling the truth and asking who she's working for. Midway through the conversation, he gets a call from Kate, which ends up actually being a trap for Hush to find and kidnap them. Alice threatens Luke into decoding Lucius's journal, otherwise Julia is going to be electrocuted to death. Shocking, isn't it? Kate brings Parker down into the Batcave, which annoys Mary. Yeah, again, see what I mean? Might as well just put a signpost saying, the Batcave is here. My God. Anyway, as they try to contact Luke, Sophie visits Kate, which makes things awkward when the conversation turns to Julia. Hush tortures Julia, which distracts Luke from trying to decode the journal. Luke worries that he's nothing like his father, which might get them both killed in the process. Mouse asks Alice why they're keeping Hush alive, and she argues that he can lead them to whatever weapon the journal points to. Luke begins to figure out the sequence in Lucius's journal, which ends up being tied to his social security number. Interesting. Mary discovers a pair of glasses in Lucius Fox's box of belongings, which are able to digitally translate the entire journal. Luke decodes the journal and realises that its message is too secretive for him to tell Alice. Meanwhile, Parker figures out that Alice is torturing her victims in Gotham, and Kate tracks them down. She agrees to trade them for the glasses in exchange for Luke and Julia's lives, but Luke stops her because the book contains the secret to killing whoever wears the bat suit. Alright, getting interesting now. Alice realises that the glasses are real and lets them all go. Batwoman helps Julia and Luke escape but promises to go after Alice and gets the book back. A guard notices Batwoman and triggers the alarms, which leads to Alice letting every prisoner in Arkham free. Batwoman makes her way through the rioting prisoners while Alice and Mouse escape. Kate reunites with Luke, who argues that his life wasn't worth Alice potentially killing her for. Kate disagrees and says she isn't able to be Batwoman without Luke. Aww. Yeah, they make a hell of a team. Park leaves the Batcave, but not before telling Kate to try harder with Sophie. Sophie and Julia reunite, leading to the two of them kissing just as Kate arrived. Yeah, awkward. Kate arrives to Julia, who reveals that she's working with Sapphire. Kate has never heard of her before, but Julia says Sapphire will target them both now. Jacob meets Batwoman at the back signal, confronting her about the Arkham prisoners being freed. He warns her to stop fighting crime, otherwise it will lead to an all-out war between her and the Crows. Mouse is upset at Alice for how things were handled in Arkham, but Alice argues that her priority is killing Batwoman. She then asks Mouse to find Tommy so he can help them find the weapon to do so, and that weapon is revealed to be none other than kryptonite, and that's how episode 19 ends. Yeah, overall, this episode had some good moments, little bit weak in some parts. Hush's debut wasn't as good as I'd hoped it would be. The writing of him was pretty silly, and he came across as silly, and yeah, I just wasn't a fan of it. But there was some good moments, and it was kind of cool that they referenced kryptonite, which is tied to Supergirl. So it's going to be interesting going forward how this sets up for the season finale. But yeah, this episode, as I said, had some good moments, but I thought episode 18 was maybe just a little bit better. So that about wraps it up for this review, and I'm going to just drop this here for you guys. What did you think of episode 19? Did you think it was good? What was your thoughts on the way Hush's live action debut was handled? Did you think it was good? Do you think it could have been better? What was your thoughts on the writing? Do you think he came across as a little bit silly at times? Or do you think maybe they should have saved Hush for a bigger role, maybe as a potential main villain for a future season? You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will be back for the final edition of the Season 1 review series of Batwoman. And all I've got to say is it's been a very interesting but yet up and down road, but we'll talk all about that in the final edition of the Season 1 review series. So until next time, take care everybody and stay safe.